Yeah, I mean, high price tags is just it's the best filter. I mean, it's you can have people that say that they want to do something over and over and over, but once you apply a purchase to it, like we do this for products. So we show a product example to people. They're like, "Oh yeah, I love it." It's like, "All right, well, it's $20. Let's commerce on this right now." And they're like, "Oh well, no, it's not. Maybe not." So it's so easy to say you're interested in things, but to actually apply like a hard filter to it, you clear out all the data. And so I would never like. I'm part of Soho House. I'm part of CEO groups. I'm part of all these require like a filter mechanism of some kind of success or data or whatever, and a price tag. And I'm happy to pay that. And any money I've ever spent on that, I spend probably at least 80 grand, maybe 100 grand a year on education, groups like that, some kind of access to like-minded people like that. And that's like, I see significant value, way more, like probably a ROI, and that's probably a 5 to 8x on that a year at least.
I spent $102,000 last year for those type of cover charges. I just think of it as a cover charge. It's just a cover charge, and and you have to be fortunate. You're fortunate to be able to pay the cover charge in some places. You're glad to pay it. You'd pay triple, and it'd be a great bargain. So it's just a cover charge. It's a screening mechanism to keep out losers. I'm a capitalist. I don't. When I hear the word free, I cringe. Free sounds like trash to me. I'm not going to do something free. I'm not a charity. I'm happy to help some charities. It's something else I don't talk about much. I've actually donated a lot more money to charity than any of you would think. I started scholarship funds for one of my professors back in undergrad. At University of Chicago, I was the top donor. Every year I was there, I was the top donor when they would do fundraising and stuff. They would do this competitive things with other schools. So they'd have, Northwestern, Chicago, something called Loyola, and something called DePaul, something like that. They'd have competitions between those 4 MBA programs, and part of it was like a sports thing. It'd be like a hybrid of like a sports event and a fundraising. And I would just make sure I was the top donor every year. That I'd just write a check and say, "Oh, come to the thing and play fucking volleyball with us." And no, I don't have time for fucking volleyball. But how much have you collected so far and from who? And then made sure I paid enough that I was higher than anybody else. And also made sure a lot of people in the building knew about it. And the payoff from little things like that are tremendous. The payoff for that, if I wanted to go talk to the dean, I'd take my phone and send him a text. If I wanted to go talk to the assistant dean, I'd take my phone and send him a text. So on and so on, And I didn't do it only for that reason. There's other people that I wanted access to as well, but that's what you're paying for. You're paying a cover charge to be allowed to communicate with certain people in a certain way, and it's a fantastic investment. It was a fantastic investment. So, I don't know, I'm delighted to pay those cover charges. I used to go to Playboy Mansion, frequently, more than a dozen times. Some of those parties, you paid $5,000 for a ticket. You couldn't just go buy the ticket. If you were very fortunate to be invited, to some of those things, there's some that you could just go buy a ticket. There were a couple events you could just go buy a ticket. You go find it on the internet somewhere, and somebody's going to resell one. There were a couple of events, Hefner's private parties, like Midsummer Night's Dream. So you can't just go buy a ticket. So you thank the heavens that you were invited, that you knew somebody that trusted you enough to use their reputation to say, yeah, I can, I'm going to get you an invite and so on. And then you'd show up there, and I'm not even going to say their names. It's a bunch of A-list celebrities, and the parents of, the fathers of A-list celebrities who still have very robust dating lives. I'll tell some of you guys privately if you care. But yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing, and it's like going to it's like the people that you'd see in the audience at an Oscars or something, but at the Playboy Mansion instead. It was like a dream. It was like a dream. I wish Hef lived for 100 more years so I could keep going to those parties every month or two. So I don't know. I love anytime. Just what you said is like you get a 5x return or 10x return on that to go do that. So I spent $102,000 last year on that, and we do the same this year. And now you have all this COVID hysteria that it's a lot of these aren't even live events, and I still didn't cancel my memberships because I don't want to be that guy. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to pay all the fees, and I'm going to participate in nothing this year. So I can then have the privilege that when the world normalizes again, that I'm still, a welcome member to those organizations. And I wasn't the guy that fusses like, hey guys, can I get a little discount because of the, I could do that, and probably somebody, no doubt somebody's doing that. And no doubt everybody's going to look at that person funny, in the future. So I don't know, man. I love paying a cover charge. You're not paying a cover charge to get into something. I always thought this about nightclubs. I think the same thing about this sort of thing. You're not paying a cover charge to get in. You pay a cover charge as a management fee to make sure the wrong people aren't allowed in. You're not even paying to get in. They're willing to let you in because you're smart enough to pay a fee and to trust them to keep the wrong people out. So anybody, when you hear people fussy about it, I won't pay a cover charge. Why should I have to pay to go in? Some people are there for free. Why should I have to pay to go in? How come the girls go to the club free? Or how come the girls get to go to the Playboy Mansion for free, and I got to pay $5,000? Yeah, because Hefner created an environment where there's minimum 2.5 girls for every guy. That was the rule. It was just an overt rule. Minimum 2.5, and they weren't allowed to wear clothes. True, they had to wear either body paint or lingerie only. They couldn't even wear clothes. So that by itself is worth a damn cover charge. That by itself is worth it. So I don't know. I like paying a cover charge. I'm happy I got to pay a cover charge. It's a privilege to pay a cover charge to go to an Ivy League school. It's a privilege to pay a cover charge to go to the Playboy Mansion. It's a privilege to pay a cover charge to some of the groups. I'm not allowed to talk about the groups, and I'll respect that. But it's a privilege to be a part of some of those groups. And I created the same thing. That's what this mastermind group is. That's who all these people are in the audience. Everybody here paid at least $20,000 to be part of that group. And I would argue again. I'll say it with a straight face. I think it's a privilege to be part of that. I turn away 70% of the people that want to. So you don't want the wrong person. A lot of the fee they're paying is to have a social group that the wrong people aren't allowed. They know it's going to be good quality. They know they're going to like each other. There's a general trust just by being members of that group. So the other guys are going to be good quality.